So, recording in progress. So we start the afternoon sessions. Of course, dear Nizha and everyone, I'm very pleased to share with you my humble experience and to learn from yours as well, and from Mr. Abdelouahed. It was really a pleasure, and it will be a pleasure since we are on a WhatsApp group, so we are going to stay in touch.
Inshallah, yeah.
All right, we exchange information in the future, and any questions you might have, all right, so we can post them and talk about them and discuss them on the WhatsApp group.
Guys, would you like to go? Would you like to go live?
Yes, Mr. Abdelouahed.
Would you like to go live on Facebook?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problem for me.
Okay, so ensure that you include, you devote, about after the, the evaluation and suggestions later on, inshallah, right? We shall discuss, first of all, in short, the observations regarding the demo lessons before. And then, inshallah, right, there will be an evaluation of the training. You give the chance to each one, right, inshallah, to express his own reflections. Then you give me, right, maybe 2 minutes in order to share the reports, the report of the findings regarding the feedback event form, right? And that's it, great, inshallah, great. Okay, so that's it. We are going to go live, inshallah. So pay attention to
Okay.
All right, after a while, once again, going. Okay, 1, 2, 3, streaming. Okay.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for attending. It has really been a pleasure to have you throughout these 3 days, these 3 past days, and it has been exciting and it has been fruitful. You've all shown a great deal of energy and participation. So for these afternoon sessions, we are going to have them, since they are the last 2 sessions of the training, of the online training, but we'll stay in touch. As we know, connections are very important throughout any kind of professional development training. So the first part of this afternoon sessions, we have a 30-minute post-demo lesson feedback. It is a discussion of online classroom observations and recommendations for best ELT online practices. We are going to give the floor to Mr. Abdelouahed to have a say in this first part of the session, and afterwards we'll give the chance to each participant to give their evaluation of the training and suggestions for probably ongoing support. So Mr. Abdelouahed, you have the floor to share with us kind of like an overview and a discussion of the online classroom observation from the morning demo lessons, which were energetic, interactive. Participants have shown great deal of interaction with the students online. So that was great. It was fun to watch. So I'll give the chance to Mr. Abdelouahed to go ahead with the discussion. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Taoufik. Of course, this, we inshallah, great. In this session, we shall, great. Let's say, give the chance to everyone, great, to express and share their observations, online demo lessons, demo lesson observations, and so on. So I got some remarks regarding the, in general, the participants that would during the morning, right? I was really very excited and very happy because, seeing the, because of being part or one of the causes or reason why, that, alhamdulillah, after the, last guidance and support, to get some participants who may not have had the experience before, let's say, to teach online, to go into such troubles and so on, be they are technical or didactic and so on. So at the beginning, it was Mrs. Rashida took, let's say, her turn, and her performance generally was great. Okay, so because she has been great devoting a lot of time before during the lesson planning process. This is a very important stage. So she tried thinking, great, to draw some, put some ideas into practice and design a good plan. I congratulate you for the effort that you have made before. And when it comes to performance, of course, there are things that, of course, that interfere. Many variables interfere in your lesson planning process, in the execution of the lesson planning. So sometimes you need to, skip things. Sometimes you need to, because, students are there to interact, to ask questions. Maybe sometimes they don't understand exactly the instruction and so on. So generally, I like very much this spirit, being excited as a teacher, being active, or interacting, raising questions, smiling. I like all these qualities that you have demonstrated, Mrs. Rashida. And I also like providing feedback. Feedback is very important. But guys, let us make our feedback so varied and rich, right? So that, because your feedback is an input to students. All right, so feedback can be verbal. It's good, right? Most of the feedback that tutors provide are verbal. Is verbal. You encourage them. You say, "Good, you've done a great job," and so on. Let us make our feedback varied, right? You can use a non-verbal feedback using your own gestures and so on, right? That's gonna be a good point too, right? Okay, using some feedback like this, right? Maybe I may result, according to my experience, to maybe some objects like a star, as I did before, right? You've done a great job, right? That's really makes students more excited, right? And engaged, right? Deeply engaged, actually. Okay, so I like very much providing the feedback. Feedback can also whatever, right? There are different kind of reward and, the forms of reinforcements out there. And some of the areas that need improvement, actually, which I'd like to share with you, Mrs. Rashida, is that at the beginning, I saw that the beginning was a little bit long, right? The lesson initiation is very important. And Brown Douglas, again, every time I refer to Brown Douglas because his books are to the point, right? It talks about lesson initiation, and they say that you should get the student to initiate the lesson by himself, right? And that stage should be that smooth and that short and so on. It should not be that long. And maybe because some of the reasons, again, or one of the things, remarks, is that the language of instruction, Mrs. Rashid, that you adopted at the beginning was a bit challenging, right? Maybe because you got my idea wrong, right? Because I talked before, I say that these students, because you are not familiar with the background of students, I told you that the students are, third year middle school students, they are beginners. But this, sample of students are, high flyers. They are highly flyers, but in their level, not, so flyers, right? Don't exceed maybe, when it comes to communication, especially, I have pointed that one student like Waham and so on, I said that her level grades can actually compete those students in the first year baccalaureate when it comes to fluency and so on. And I think that it was just, it played the role like Missy when she joined late in some lessons, and then she activated, let's say, the lesson a little bit, right? So the language of instruction was a bit challenging, maybe because you thought actually that students were that, their performance or their fluency and proficiency is so high. So let's skip the intro a little bit short and facilitate or tailor, let's say, our language to fit, let's say, the student's level and, ability and proficiency in English too. Go back to objectives here and then, right, one point here, which I have remarked also, right, the wait time. Mrs. Rashid, I remarked that you are in a hurry. You ask your question and you need students, right, to come up with the answer right away. Don't maybe because you are being given 15 minutes, right, and you are worried about completion and meeting your goals as fast as possible. But we have to take into consideration students' learning pace in addition to that wait time that you give to students. When you give students wait time, enough time to think and respond and so on, that's something very important. Right, very important. It doesn't mean that nothing is happening. No, students there At that time, they are deeply internalizing what your instructions, and they are deeply cognitively developing, right? So you don't have to worry. You give wait time, some seconds, right? Not minutes, right? Some seconds, 10 seconds, right? For them to think. And then if you didn't get the answer, so maybe I have to revise my instruction and make it as easier and as possible. Okay, these are some of the basic. In terms of structure, it was fine. It was great. You have respected the main important structure. You have interacted with students. You gave them the chance to speak and so on. That's so fantastic. So congratulations again for the great job that you did. As for Samir, right? Samir, right? I remember Samir as a young boy, right? And then I was watching him growing, right? Yeah, year after year. It was such a good and such a kind tutor. Actually, such a kind man. I like very much seeing you, right, going into this experience, especially that you're a student, right? You haven't yet maybe enough experience teaching, but your actually your lesson was great again, right? I'm not just giving you compliments, right? But I have seen that students, there was some communication with students. And something more important is that this, interaction, right? So students are speaking, expressing their own, their thoughts regarding daily routine activities and so on. And each time you help them, you provide some scaffolding. This is very important for students. You back up your student so that they can they can produce more language, right, and use the language more. I see that you have been asking questions about at what time did you have lunch? Not just I ate lunch and then I go like, what time did you eat lunch? What time did you do this? Right? That's very nice, right, for a student to get familiar with the language and use the language word. But your attention to one very important remark that needs improvement. Your TTT is a little bit high, right? At the beginning, I noticed, right? Let's try to make our the teacher talking time, the tutor talking time a little bit less, right? And give much more to the students, let's say, to speak, right? That's very nice. You've done a great job. But just again, the input is very important to see, Samir, right? Our input, the language input that students perceive, they learn from it a lot, right? So let's make our instructions and the language a little bit accurate as much as possible, right? You have noticed that you said, for instance, you are in holiday. You are in holiday. We'd better say you are on holiday. I think that's the familiar, right? The appropriate preposition to use. Okay, this is not a big deal, but generally it was great. I was really happy, great, to see you teaching in such a way. And Mr. Aziz, I'm sorry for taking you again for so long, but I would try to be as brief as possible. Mr. Aziz, great. Mr. Aziz, we haven't heard from you, great, during the enough during the previous sessions. But during this demo lesson was a big challenge for you, and it was a very nice experience again. And I really enjoyed watching you teaching. Right? We got to to start with some very important remarks here. The content that you have provided was very nice. Right? It was very fruitful for students. And yes, there are some remarks maybe that I should share with you, right? Technically speaking, as we are talking about online tutoring, we got to pay attention to our environment, right? The surrounding, because there was a bit noise, the environment was a little bit noisy, right? There are kids out there. This is something so natural. And that's one of the challenges actually for tutoring online, especially when you live together with the large family, right? An extended family, right, and so on. Kids are running here and there, right? Someone is knocking the door, right? It was sometimes when I'm tutoring, right? My kid would come, right, and come behind me intentionally, right, making some troubles, and then I sometimes engage him in the lesson, right? Especially when it comes to kids, right? So let's pay attention to the noisy environments. Again, yes, you naming different words, categories, that was fine, right? I would like, it would be a great idea if we especially one point here, which has to do, I think, with the, you talked about the zoo animals, right? Okay, that was nice. Naming different word categories, right? There was one remark I would like to stress here, which has to do with the clarity of the images, right, that you have presented, right? Yeah, you shared some images, but the images were not that clear, right? Okay, it was not great in terms of color and so on. I think that we got to opt for a high quality images for students to get the idea clearly, right? That's it, great. So again, one last remark is to let's make the task that we provide, let's minimize the number of tasks, right? Because you got a very limited time, so we got to make the task a little bit short. I like very much interaction. I like very much being highly motivated, highly interactive in, let's say, dealing with students and so on. And I like very much, trying to distribute, let's say, the turns among students so that they can get engaged and participate all. Congratulations again, and wish you more and more success, inshallah. I think, Saeed, yes, Saeed is the last great, volunteer to teach. For Saida, I talked a lot, right? I think, Mr. Shahid, I think in private, I have already expressed my point of view regarding your performance. It was great, amazing. It was interactive. I like very much students getting engaged, and you are speaking with the, try to vary your voice projection is a plus for you, right? Make use of use, you have invested your voice projection very well, and you could, let's say, get the students' attention and engage them. I like very much, again, having the list of the students, and then you try, because especially that your session was a bit challenging. You have combined both, your session combined both students from Saudi Arabia and from Morocco, but however, you managed to recall the names and also, right, try to give them the chance to participate. What I like best, and this is the last point I would like to share to give the chance to my friends to interfere, is your methodology. The methodology they opt for, Mr. Saeed, right, was really amazing. It was really amazing. You opted for an inductive method, right? And this is the one that I prefer to opt for, especially for those, participants who started previously with rules or explaining and so on. Let's start inductive, deal with students, or introduce the structures to students inductively. Start with examples until you understand that you check for students' understanding, and you come up with the fact that students are really good, understood what we should do. Then, right, you come up with the rule as you did, right, at the end, right, and then you put it in the middle, you highlight it, right, as a headline at the end, right. That's really perfect, right. I like very much this methodology. But we got again to pay attention to one thing. What is it? Is that the number of tasks. You got to, Mr. Said, you got 50 minutes, right? But I don't like introducing many difficulties at a time. I think I have raised this remark before. Plurals, regular, irregular, exceptions. Oh, right, just in 1 minute, right, for beginners. That's not great reasonable. I don't think it's however, because of this inductive method, right, I think that the lesson was it went smooth and so on. But if we did just with the if we do just with the regular plurals and so on, in addition to those exceptions, which I don't think they are that exceptions, I consider them to be regular, right? Because okay, if we have ch at the end or o at the end, or let's say, right, or sh or z or s, or okay, so we got to add es, right? This is some kind of rule. Again, if we have f at the end or fe at the end, we change them, replace that to ves. It's a rule, right? So I usually personally include them as regular plurals, because regular plurals right now, right, can be by adding, right, formed by adding s or es or ies at the end, right? That's it for that's all we had to say. The last thing here concerning the input, language input again. Let's pay attention to the word fast here. I think you have maybe you have introduced fast as being right. Fast as being just an adverb, maybe, right? I hope I was not mistaken here. But fast can be both. It can be an adjective. It can be right an adverb too. Okay. I always say this. Person drives fast. This is an adverb, right? And this is a fast car, right? This is an adjective. Thank you very much and sorry again for taking much time. But I have to give the chance to. I have to share my ideas with the volunteers. Thank you very much, and sorry, Mr. Taoufik.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdelouahed, for your interesting remarks indeed. So you've covered many things related to this morning's demo lessons, which are essential to a successful future lesson conducted with the students online. So I believe that the remarks were addressed to Mrs. Rashida, Mr. Aziz, and Mr. Samir, right, Mr. Abdelouahed?
In addition to Mr. Said, yes.
And in addition to Mr. Said, very nice. So Mr. Abdelouahed has mentioned and pointed to kind of like inductive teaching, taking giving much time or giving time to students to think about the answer, warm up at the beginning of the session, how you introduce the session, and many other good and essential aspects about teaching online. So we move to the participants if they have any questions, comments, or suggestions. So we open the discussion now for participants to give their opinions about this morning's demo session. So it is going to be kind of like a learn from each other kind of like discussion. So anyone would like to talk, please, you could raise your hand, or you could just kind of like enable your microphone and start speaking. So, Mrs. Rashida, you have comments or suggestions, or probably kind of like response to the feedback given to you by Mr. Abdelouahed? Yes, Mr. Samir, you can go ahead and speak. Go ahead, Mr. Samir.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Taoufik. Thank you so much for Mr. Abdelouahed for giving such insightful remarks, which are actually great. Actually, it was a good experience to be, let's say, supervised by professionals and taking part in teaching online, which was my first, let's say, experience. Actually, it was good. Thank you so much. We have learned a lot.
Welcome.
I just want to know if in online teaching, do we give, let's say, some kind of assignments or let's say something to write for students?
All right, very
good
question.
Good. Do you recommend if you give students assignments or let's say something to write in their copybooks and so?
Nice, very good. That's very nice. Okay. Yeah, is the question addressed to me, Ms. Samir?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Assessment is very essential. Great. It's very important in order to trace students' progress and so on and so forth. Based on my experience, actually, when it comes to kids, those written assignments that students need to write, they cannot do that without the help of their parents. So the parents is, parents are, partners must, the partners that should be there, right? If there are any kind of assessment or any kind of homework that they have to do and so on, right? There are, when it comes to tutoring business right now, things can be approached differently. There are some parents who may not, appreciate assigning, let's say, homework to students, right? Okay, they say, right, that's our student, right? They are already busy, right? They have their schedule at school, right? Is a bit condensed and so on. So they don't like having, let's say, homework assignments. Others insist on having homework assignments, right? For you as your tutor, you do what at the beginning, you do what should be done, right? Signing homework is very essential. In addition to that, when it comes to, tutoring as a business, you handle your student. From the first real lesson, you did a lesson and so on, and sign him homework, right? So that's great. Yeah, next session, inshallah, great, you will be committed to come, right? Okay, so assigning homework is very essential. You give the chance to the student to practice the language more beyond, let's say, the classroom. And you handle your the student too, but to make sure that if they are kids and so on, you have to address the parents, right, via messages. Great, told them that, all right, please, especially if the parents, most of the parents, the students I'm teaching, their parent know some enough English, they know some basic English, right, so they can help, right? Or maybe if there is a brother and, an older brother or whatever, right, someone who is there, to help, it's good, right? Okay. But if it's an adult learner and so on, you assign homework. They like assigning homework, and this is my experience. Great, I had the opportunity to teach a Chinese engineer, great, settling in the United Arab Emirates, and he insists a lot, great, on homework. I send him homework, 1 sheet or 2 sheets. He said, no, great, send me more, great, want more. It's because he has paid money, want to take us more from you, right? Okay, so I send him workbooks, not just say, right, so 1 single sheet or 2, right? Okay, so but this is on one part. Okay, yes, on the. But if you are talking about assessment, within the continuous assessment or the assessment within the class, it's very important to have a post. That post, stage in your lesson within the session. You should have some kind of task, as some of your colleagues did, in order to make sure whether they have understood, to check for their understanding, whether they have learned something new or not, whether they understood what they have practiced or not. This is the point. In short, I hope that I have answered your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Very an insightful answer indeed. Yes, homeworks are essential, and it really depends on each student and the program you're following or you're working on with that student. So if they are supervised by their parents and they ask for homework, you give them homework, and so it is also up to you. All right, how you go on with the lessons, etc. So it really depends from one student to another. We are running short of time, so we'll give 5 minutes to the discussion so that we could close it and go ahead and start with the evaluation of the training by the participants as a closing part. We're going to give the chance to Mr. Muad and Ms. Nizha to give the remarks regarding feedback and discussion of this morning's demo lesson. So Mr. Muad goes first, as you raised him first, and then Ms. Nizha will follow.
Okay, thank you very much, Taoufik and Mr Abdelouahed. Thank you very much. Concerning my feedback for the demo lessons in the morning, I think the teachers did well. The students, were engaged, and the kind of activities used, they were really interesting. And I had the remarks I had are, I'm sure that they were because of the tight, timing they had, 15 minutes and everything. We teachers, we like to give everything, and we never believe in a bit by bit methodology. We want the lesson to have an introduction, a practice, and production. We want things to be perfect all the time. So that instinct is present all the time, especially in the lessons in the morning. So as Mr Abdelouahed mentioned, we need to take the timing we have into consideration. When it comes to teaching any lesson, or no matter how good your material is, you need to master the timing. Time management is very important when it comes to teaching in general. That's the only remark I have, and I think it applies to all of us, including me.
Sure.
And I have a question just for you and Taoufik, just for to enlighten us with your experience, please. when it comes to teaching online, on-site, when I teach, for example, students in English for communication in centers or maybe one-to-one, I tend to adopt some programs, you know, like interchange, like New American Inside Out.
Yeah.
And this somehow helps me, I mean, and takes a lot of load on my back in terms of choosing material and looking for material. It helps a lot. However, when it comes to online teaching, is this, I mean different? I mean, is it advisable to adopt such programs, or it's better to adopt to make your own material and everything?
Thank you,
Very much.
Mr. Muad, for your intervention. Very good question indeed. Very pertinent one. Here with me, we talk about programs. There are many out there. They are resources for you as a teacher to benefit from, to take advantage from. And when you're teaching online or on-site, both kind of that they are similar in terms of methodology, etc., but they differ from the fact that on teaching online, you don't have this presence with the student. But when you are teaching, try to take the best out of each program, adapt it to your own specific needs with each specific student, because there is differentiation between students and there is this kind of like level differences. So for example, you're teaching at a language center, you have interchange and many other kind of like programs. I would, if I were you, I would kind of like select lessons from each kind of program, adopt them to my own specific needs, work on them, and give the students something that is fresh and from my own experience. This is what I do. I've never, I do. It's really rare where I adapt kind of like a specific program, and it depends on the language center if they kind of like ask you to use that specific program.
Yeah.
But it is really up to you to kind of like take the best from whichever program you think is good. Now teaching online, it really depends on the level of the student. If they are beginner, you start from the basics and you go up. So regarding programs to use, tailor programs that you see fit. Work on your own lesson plans. I wouldn't recommend to kind of like adapt a specific program and use it all the time. I would rather kind of like choose the best practices, best exercises, great lessons, and kind of like tailor them to my own needs and my students. So I hope I have answered the question. If any further clarification is needed, Mr. Muad, you could ask, of course, and send it privately or in the group here, or probably whichever works for you. I hope I have covered enough of the question.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. Here we have Mrs. Nata for her intervention, and then I think we could move on to the second part, which is evaluation of the training by participants and suggestions for ongoing support. And then we give the kind of the talk to Mr. Abdelouahed to close this special training, I have to say. I must say. All right. So yeah, Mrs. Nata.
Thanks, Mr. Taoufik. I would like to thank Teacher Abdelouahed for this initiative to help other teachers to learn the tutoring online. What I would like to say is the aim of tutoring online is to make students speak the language faster. So I think that we have to add in the lesson some tasks on offline tasks, like it could be assignments in a homework in a Word, or like videos. And I would like to mention the importance of the tutoring online to motivate the group work, how the peer learning is working in this tutoring online. And is it for students? it will excite, for example, students who works alone, or there are some ways to motivate group work to help students be flyers, have other skills, move to other levels of being skillful, not to they have to be smart in using the language, and also to it is competition nowadays. Now students are trying to use these skills. They have to learn faster the language and learn the group with the group of other students, learn other relations, other tasks. Okay. This is what I want to say, and I will stop here.
Was it a question or a comment? Was it a
no? It's
mixture of
just
both? A remark, yeah. Ah, yeah, great. Very interesting, yeah. It has to do with how to learn fast, yeah.
Yes, and we can see that, for example, drilling. Drilling is very important in learning the language, and we can assign, for example, tasks for students to repeat, to enjoy, for example, playing some games offline, and they send it, and you try to use it as a sort of motivating the students. And if he give you some videos, some effort like this, then he is going to win your feedback, your star. If you give 1 star, you can give 5 stars for some who do offline. And by the way of doing this, you will help students learn faster. For example, nowadays there is a must to finish, for example, some objectives in 3 months or something, in order to have a result in 1 year. You have to observe that this learner has learned something, has improved his language. And that's all, and thank you for your
welcome. Thank you so much for speaking and for sharing your ideas. They're so thoughtful.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you very much for speaking, as Mr. Abdelouahed had said. Thank you very much. Very insightful remark indeed, Mrs. Mizha. We have other participants. I don't know if anyone else wants to talk or to speak briefly, please, because next on we have a kind of like an evaluation of the training, and then inshallah we are going to move and give Mr. Abdelouahed a kind of like a brief closing to this, as I mentioned before, special training that includes special participants around Morocco. So we have Mr. Saeed, and we have Miss Afaf afterwards, and then we'll give the normal talk to Mr. Abdelouahed. Go ahead, Mr. Saeed, and then followed by Miss Afaf.
Thank you, Mr. Taoufik. Thank you, Mr. Abdelouahed. Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
It would be, let's say, a recapitulation of the whole, let's say, the whole training. I would like to congratulate you, Mr. Abdelouahed, first.
Thank you so much. Great. Thank you.
With your, let's say, distinguished guests, the chairperson and Mr. Oumih, whom you invited in the previous sessions.
Yeah, without you all, actually, without you all, nothing here. We have nothing to do here, right? It's you, your presence, who who made it. I'm not sure it's successful or not. Inshallah, we are going to take a look at the results, and we are listening to your evaluation. Maybe we are in the evaluation stage right now, Mr. Taoufik. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I would like to thank Mr. Taoufik too, now, for his help, for his patience, and for his, let's say, generosity. He's just provided his website for tutors now to benefit from his, let's say, already made materials in teaching online and so on. Really, these days I'm a bit busy now because of being engaged in let's say extra let's say activities. But I didn't want to skip the opportunity, or let's say, of attending this.
Hats off for this.
Yeah, this training, let's say, this training. Though I've been in the field of teaching now for about a decade or more. But
now, how long have you been teaching, Mr. Said? How long?
It's a decade now.
Oh, it's like 10 years.
10 or 11 years.
Nice,
yeah.
Nice, great.
But no, teaching online is a new experience. Now, we cannot talk about experience in the classroom when it comes to teaching online. That's why now there is always a need for let's say experienced people to guide and help, and let's say, and why not give pieces of advice, just like what you did, Mr. Abdelouahed, and the misters too. For now to evaluate the I believe that the training was really successful. That's why I started with congratulating you. I'm sorry now because
I'm so happy to hear that. Right. I'm so happy to hear that.
Thank you. So it was really successful. One of the remarks maybe that I included in the feedback is the use of mics concerning the participants, the learners particularly. The voice is not really audible, which means, and it really sometimes it hinders, let's say, communication, and it seems just like there is a kind of obstacle between the tutor and the learners. So the material is of paramount importance. Concerning my observations, I have you have said something concerning fast school. The adjective school related to the last activity. Yeah, it's related to the last activity, the odd one out. Not related to my activity, but anyway, in general, everything was perfect. I congratulate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I wish you the best, and I wish the best for all the participants. Thank you very much. And the floor is to Mr. Taoufik.
Thank you so much.
Very kind of you, Mr. Said. Thank you very much for your remarks and comments. Indeed, yes, the training was 1,000% successful, according to the discussion happening now. Mrs. Afaf is next to give her talk, which, so you go ahead, Mrs. Afaf. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. So good afternoon, all of you, and I hope you are doing well. I would like to thank all the professors here and everyone who participated in the demo lessons. Unfortunately, I didn't, because I have, as I said, some tasks to finish. So before today, and another thing is there was a meeting till tomorrow, but they do it today and they take too much time. So this is why I reached till the end, till the demo lessons of Mr. Said, when he was explaining plural now. So that is why I didn't give observations, because I didn't attend the
we understand your situation. We understand your working situations. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to thank Mr. Abdelouahed for this interesting workshop, and also Mr. Taoufik, because I already attended a workshop by Mr. Abdelouahed.
Maybe it's so long time ago. What was it? Well, maybe 7 years ago.
Yes, maybe 7 years.
Wow, long time. Yeah, I don't remember.
In Meknes, so it's very important for me to attend another workshop, because as the first one, I took many things, and I still have these papers and these things with me, because I from time to time I use them. So that's why for me it's I couldn't miss this chance. So that's why I'm all the time enthusiastic about the workshops, because I benefit a lot. One thing I would just to say about myself, because I am, as I said before, I am a teacher just doing with the classroom, with the students. So because I would like to do this tutoring online, because I find it's so interesting, and it's especially today people from many countries would like to learn English. So it's also something that would help me a lot. And I would like just to mention something, which is to Mr. Abdelouahed and also
Welcome.
Mr. Taoufik. I'm sure of this. You are very well equipped with technology, and it's something very, very necessary when dealing with tutoring online. Because when you send us the program and other things, everything is really well done. So you find that the date is already in my calendar to train online. It's 8 from February, and you find
nice, good.
Also yes, and also when we start before 10 o'clock, there is something in my phone saying that you have a workshop. You still have just 5 minutes
before. A reminder, 2 reminders.
Yeah, so for me, I said as a teacher, I need to improve myself more in technological stuff like these things, because it's now it becomes a need. Okay, so we live with this technology. Another things, I have 2 questions. Because I as I said before, I took notes, but when you sir give us the lessons PDF, I need to read it again and check for more things. I have 2 questions. The first one is, sir, yes, for Mr. Taoufik and Mr. Abdelouahed. Okay, so the first thing for you that you see, that for example, you advise us to do as a beginners in order to start tutoring online. So what is the first thing that you see that we as very beginners in these things, you said that it's the first thing that you have to do, okay? And the second questions, what are the things that you insist on us to pay attention when we are applying in one of these websites that hire tutors online? So the things that you insist on us to pay attention to them.
All right, okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, yes, that's it. And thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Abdelouahed, and also Mr.
Welcome, welcome, the most welcome, the most welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Afaf. I really
see
how
so
exciting it was for you and for every other participant to participate in this training. And indeed, yes, the professionalism and the correct timing, the notifications, the scheduling, everything seems to put this training together in one piece and to happen and to be very successful. So before I give the chance to Mrs. Rashida to give her talk, would like so Mr. Abdelouahed, we answer the question provided.
Yeah, Mrs. Afaf has raised 2 questions. Thank you very much, first of all, for your compliment
so
and your kind words, great, and so on, and your encouragement. We really appreciate your presence here. And I have to, to again congratulate you and to encourage you for this kind of personality that you have, because you are such a hardworking student. And I noticed that you are always seeking for a learning opportunity.
Yes,
this is something I advise myself, and I advise and I recommend, for everyone, right? Okay, because why? Because we as teachers, I have a friend. I remember one of the friends actually, it has been at a certain time during a certain period. I used to be the president of one of the branches of the Moroccan Associations of Teachers of English here in Ouarzazate, Zaboura, and Tinghera. At a certain time, we had the rich action plan with conferences for teachers, trainings, workshops, and a lot. I came here, right, just beside the school in the House of Culture. We organized the event there, and my colleagues here, right, with whom I teach, right, do not attend, right. Maybe I'm going to, oh my God, right. This is live, but I have to see it, right, guys. If you are following, right, I know my colleagues and so on. You are following, right. So we have to learn from each other, right? Whenever there is an opportunity, there might be some reason why a person may not attend, but one of the reasons why some, tutors, do not, or some teachers, don't hesitate to travel and invest on themselves or to learn and so on, is that they are not yet convinced, right? So responding to your question, what's the some of the things or the advice to start tutoring? You've got to believe in it, right? Okay, this is the first thing. Believe in tutoring, because most believing in all what we have discussed, right? The fact that you can teach online, sitting at home, right? And making extra money, developing yourself professionally. You have to believe in this, right? This is real. Every time I try to tell the story, right, to someone, right, so they can, to a colleague, so they can believe in, right, and then start, especially that so many tutors and so many colleagues and so on. Teachers in general in Morocco are suffering from critical financial situations. You heard what, some news, I don't know whether they are real news, fake news, or real news recently, all right? If you didn't get the shots, you're not going to be paid, all right? This is really, okay, that's enough, right? For what? For 500 dirham, of 5,000 dirhams a month. All right, I received an offer, right, to work for 3 million centime, right, Maghribiya, right? Okay, so I think that we need to believe in tutoring, and don't worry about about not being employed by the government. Forget about the government offers the employments and so on. Think about freelancer. The future of work, of employment, is freelancer, right? You can be a king within your home, within your bedroom, right? Sitting, just if you don't have even a tutoring studio, right? Okay, so believe in tutoring. Try to get rid of any negative ideas or whatever. But you can work, right? And then inshallah, right, you try to establish professional relationships with people who can help you, right? Get rid of those who just say that it can't work, you can't be, and so on. Try to just attend such professional meetings that where people can encourage you. This is the only thing I advise you. The second thing related to things to pay attention to, I will give you just one thing here, which I think I didn't mention during the, when we talked about platforms and so on, register. We encourage you to register and so on, register in PayPal, register in this platform, do this. But there is one thing I want to draw your attention to, because sometimes when we are novice, we may, right, get encouraged, and then, right, we if you are not trained enough, if we don't take some security issues into consideration, we may fall victims, right? Okay, we may fall victims of a lot of things, including some security issues that those platforms suffer from, right? Those platforms, as I have noticed before, they are bombarded with right, they are full of spammers too. Okay, so you don't have, when a student contacts you, for instance, don't because right, believe that this is a real student. Okay, whatever he says, you say okay, send your email, okay, right, send your phone number, okay, go ahead, let's get in touch, right, on Facebook, or okay. And then, right, you might do some things that is against the policy and the terms of service of the platform. Then, right, things a person can fall a victim, can become, right, can be sent to court, right, if you're not familiar with right. We have to read the rules, right, because those companies, they are legal companies, right? When we talk about Preplay and so on, as a Canadian, I think it's a Canadian company, and so these are legal companies. It means if you violate their rules, if you are doing some spamming, or if you don't know and then you help someone, you help a spammer, right, who contacted you, and then you helped him in a way or another, you'll be accused, right, of doing some sort of a crime, and you might be sentenced, right, to court or whatever, right? So let's pay attention to that, right? I will tell you a story, right? Actually, you know, it may happen that if a person, for instance, he might contact you claiming that he is a, you know, potential student, that he is a student and that he wants lessons and so on, right? He may go and then book without having your permission. All right, it's not necessarily to contact, you know, for him to contact you, you know, so that he can start learning. He may book many hours from you, right? And then at the same time, great, you know, in a few minutes he may confirm. Let's say let's say confirm that the course or the lesson has been done and the lessons have been done, right? And then you get his money and so on, right? And then he might contact you, right? I'm speaking from an experience. So he might contact you and then telling you, please, right? I didn't attend the lessons, right? How are you going to? And then he asks you, please, guys, send me some of the money that you have got because I didn't attend any lesson, right? Because I have some problems, I didn't attend the lessons. Maybe for you, right, as you know, a person who has a good intention, right? وحنا عندنا النية مزيانة, right? اوكي الوغ السيد ما حضرش الدروس وكذا ريزيرفا 20 ساعة وكونفيرماها وكذا, غايقول لك راه ويقول لك صيفط لي الفلوس, right? الوغ ديك الفلوس اللي عندك في الكونت, right? The money that you have in your account in that platform, if you send him the money, you don't know what's the source of that money, right? You may be accused of something called the money laundering, right? غسل الأموال أو تبييض الأموال, right? يعني الفلوس اللي هذا السبامر اللي خداهم, they are illegal, right? They are not his, right? ماشي ديالو, right? سرق فلوس كذا وشحال من واحد راه خدام غير على الهاكين ديال الكاردز ديال people, right? يسرق الفلوس, right? ويمشي باش يبيضهم يخليوهم شرعيه, يخليوها اموال شرعيه بلاتي نخليوهم شرعيه, نحللهم عن طريق فلانه ولا فلان, right? فوالا, وانت بحسن النيه غتقول له السيد ما داش مزيان, انا غنصيفط له شي بركه حيت ما استفدش من الدروس وغتصيفط له, فوالا, رايت صافي. ولو سيستم راه كلشي controlled, everything is controlled, let's say, by the platform. So you will be accused of money laundering, and you maybe they have the rights and you know, according to the law, right, to you know, to raise this issue and complain to the courts. So these are some of the things. يعني ما تكونش عندنا منين ندخلوا كنشجعوكم تدخلوا ديروا هنايا وبيبال وتسجل هنا, ولكن خصنا security يعني considerations خصنا ناخذ عين الاعتبار وما نكونوش يعني عاود هكا. خصني ناخذ يعني نتصنت اي حاجه ما جربتهاش, مزيان نسول وكذا and then so on, right, وناخذ الخبره من اي واحد في هذا الميدان. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry again for talking a lot, but there are some issues that we have.
I agree, Mr. Abdelouahed. So many things to talk about, so many things to point to. Your questions were very good, Ms. Afaf. The advice at the beginning and the some things that you need to pay attention while tutoring. The advice I would say very short is that you start with what you have. All right, so don't think about that you cannot do it. I don't have a good laptop. I don't have a good
great,
microphone.
yeah, good.
Start with what you have, Start with things that are cheap. All right, just buy them from wherever. 10, let's say we say 100 dirhams, and there you have the equipment.
Yeah.
When you when you have money, when you get money from your students, then you could buy expensive materials. So
upgrading,
you could go more professional and serious about what you do. Things that to pay attention to. One important thing has been mentioned by Mr. Abdelouahed, which is fraud and fake accounts, and, you know, websites and platforms that are there to take your personal information and use them for other things that are not intended at the beginning of the registration. Try to register in websites platforms that are known.
Yeah, right.
Provide. There are thousands of websites and platforms out there provide online tutoring, but only a few that are serious about this work. So try to watch your videos on YouTube or whatever platform to learn about this more, get an idea, and then you could start. Mr. Abdelouahed, you've mentioned trainings and workshops and
ولي كارت يا ان شاء الله لي كارت اللي شرنا لهم الله يجزيكم بخير قعدت باش الواحد غيمشي ربما غيتحفز صافي بغيت نفيريفي في باي بال ديالي غنمشي ندير ناخذ لا كارت نصون وخصني نكون اي حاجه ما نديرهاش الا وانا على علم قعدت وديك لي كارت ديالك راه ديك الارقام ديك جوج الارقام اللي فيها ديك الكارد نمبر مع السي سي في كود. Those credentials, never share them with anyone. Don't let anyone look at them, right? Or sell them to you. And never submit them, as Mr. Taoufik, to a website that is not reliable or unknown, right? ما نمشيش وندخلهم باش نشري بغيت نتقدى شي حاجه ويعطي لي قال لك راه لي كارت right اللي نيميرو لا كارت ونمشي ندخل ولو سيت شوف داك لو سيت الفوق شوف لادريس واش HTTPS is it a certified site and is it a known a very known site Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, these are very known websites, right? Or people, great. That's it, great, thank you.
Once you use your credit card, something mentioned by Mr. Abdelouahed before, once you use your credit card, remove it from that website. Use it again, remove it from the website. Don't let it there linked to that website just there in your account forever. So you always try to pay attention to that.
There are possibilities regarding this point. Maybe
yes.
You know some cards like the ones issued by Popular Bank, whenever you make a transaction ملي كدير واحد العمليه راه عندك كتدخل عندك في لو كونت ديالك ديال الشعبي كتمشي لي كارت سانتيسيز دي كارت كتلقى لي كارت اللي عندك كدير ديزاكتيفيت صافي بحال حتى الا طاحت ولا شي حاجه دير ديزاكتيفيت درت واحد العمليه ندير ديزاكتيفيت يعني ما كاينش فين تخليها الواحد ما كاينش واخا تاخذها ودير لهذا غترفض العمليات will be rejected. Thank you for
my e-card is always deactivated only when
nice great
that's it. Yeah correct. That's what should be done by everyone there online. Regarding the workshops and trainings you've mentioned, Mr. Abdelouahed, there is something called cascading knowledge. This term cascading knowledge. So as educators, the knowledge we have, once we give it to others, once we share it with others, we not only share but we learn from that process. So this is why whenever you're training in a workshop, attend, participate, whoever the facilitator may be, a colleague, a friend, right, a neighbor, it doesn't matter. What matters is the content you're taking from the workshop. As Mr. Abdelouahed mentioned.
لا اللي ما شوف اللي ما كاي بالعربيه هكا بالدارجه واخا انا ما عنديش مع الدارجه مزيان ما كانت لو تقنوها قايت راه اللي كيشوف 3000 ريال بزاف عليا الله ما نمشي قايت انفيستي في راسك مزيان راه المعلومه راه شي حاجه العلم الا ما كتقدرش العلم لا حاجه لاي سمي لذلك انا تعمدت ان اي حاجه نديرها واخا تكون محاضره قالت اما الى نويت نديرها مجانا وهذاك بغيت نديرها يعني خاصه بعض التكوينات بحال هكا اللي كيكون فيها خدمه كتضرب عليها تماره وكذا نصون والو قالت واخا 100 درهم على الاقل واخا غير 100 درهم غير باش نعرفوا بان ما غيحضرك غير اللي نيت سيريو بغى يتعلم وكذا اما اللي واخا كذا واش كذا وهذا انتم محظوظون صراحه انتم محظوظون لان 26 واحد اللي تسجل طبعا كل واحد واعذاره قالت ولكن محظوظون لان انتم يلا 10 الناس اللي بقاو وهذه فرصه هذه براكتيكال 10 الناس يلا مزيانه تصوروا لو كان عندنا 26 كل شيء حضر ما تحش الفرصه للجميع انه ولا يدير ديمو ليسن ولا غيشارك ولا that's good right thank you
correct so here Mr. Abdelouahed we are running short of time.
Okay
I will give I will give Mrs. Rashida just a few minutes. All right, make it very brief, and then we give the speech to Mr. So here I see Mr. Muad is raising his hand as well.
So I still have some things to say.
Brief, so that,
or maybe you forgot.
No, thank you.
Then I will give.
No, thank you.
You forgot to raise. Lower your hand, Afaf. Lower. Do you know how to lower your hand?
Yeah.
Or I will lower it to you from here. Lower your hand.
Yes, sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Sorry.
So we're. So here we are going to give the chance for to Mrs. Rashida to speak and then Mr. Muad, and then we give a speech to Mr. Abdelouahed to close this training, which is going to be an ongoing training after this online meetings, etc. So Mrs. Rashida, try to make it very brief, and Mr. Muad afterwards. Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'd like to thank Mr. Yes, I'd like to thank Mr. Abdelouahed and Mr. Taoufik
Welcome.
for this resourceful, insightful, and informative online course, which has been well laid out and organized. Moreover, the delivery of the content has been not only engaging and outstanding for 3 days in a row, but also rich of some online teaching skills and ideas. Thanks to both of you, Mr. Abdelouahed and Mr. Taoufik.
Thank you so
much. Who have been able to bring to the course all their personal experience to help further explain to us the English online tutoring requirements, software and platforms, and also how to promote our business profiles. I'd like also to thank our colleagues here that haven't stopped interacting and collaborating to support and share their own experience too. So that's only my own speech. Thanks a lot. And okay, it was really an awesome experience. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, Mrs. Rashida. Thank you. We appreciate for your presence here.
Mrs. Rashida, we appreciate your remarks and nice feedback and kind feedback. Thank you very much. Yes, the training has been very engaging, and the participants have shown great respect and participation and commitment throughout this training. Correct, Mrs. Rashida, which is something that makes it even more fruitful and let's say successful. So we have last words for by Mr. Muad and Mr. Mohammed. Yes, we're going to give the chance to Mr. Mohammed as well to give his remarks. After Mr. Muad. Mr. Muad, yes, sure.
Okay. So since this is the last session of this wonderful, training, I would like to express my thanks to all of you. You have shared, your experience that I'm sure you have acquired throughout the years, and this spirit of sharing, as they call it, this is the zakat of al-ilm.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much
for this wonderful training. We have really benefited, and you have opened your eyes concerning different, areas in terms of online teaching and online world in general. I have one last question, not a question, just a remark. Considering the money, for example, that we will potentially receive from teaching online, I'm talking about the legal side of this money. How can we? Are we going to be questioned one day about the money we receive? Just a question coming to my head, just as an employee with the state, and all the stuff. Just if there are any, measures.
What a big question. ومشيت بغيت سلاد ترينين بخير على اخي انت تطرح لنا واحد سؤال. I don't know. All right, thank you. Very straightforward question. A very a reasonable question actually. Look,
it is a good one. Yeah, and to make things clear, just to to have the water transparent and clear. A very good question. Thank you very much, Mr. Muad, for the question. Yes, from where is the money legal? So since you're putting much effort to it, it is legal by ethically speaking, and you are allowed to work from 6 p.m. upwards. 6 p.m. upwards, it's your own responsibility to. We don't care about from where you get the money, but taking into consideration that you're not doing anything illegal. So teaching online, it's known worldwide. If your profile is accepted in the platform, means you're doing it in a very legal way. I'd give the chance to Mr. Abdelouahed to give his insights regarding.
Thank you. I should thank you.
To say about it. Go ahead,
I should thank you so much for this question. It's maybe that's the missing question during this training, right? It has to do again with the security side. Yes, it happens that sometimes you may have some troubles getting paid, right? getting paid first, right? Sometimes when you maybe send an invoice to receive like $500 or more, sometimes that money is goes pending, right? It goes it becomes hold, right? By PayPal. And why, right? Okay, so PayPal, why $500? We are not accustomed, they are not accustomed to receive such a bundle of money, right? So they need some verification, to some, few hours to verify about 48 or 72 hours, like that, 2 days, 3 days to verify that money, right? Whether the client really received, let's say, the service or not, or the products. Okay, it's very simple. So you just contact the person to whom you send, let's say, to whom your clients. You contact him. You tell him, please, the money went pending. So please, after 48, after 2 days, there will be, you go to your PayPal transaction history. You will find a button there that is a question. Have you received the service or the products? You just click on that button. You say, yes, I received the products, so that the money becomes available in your balance. This is one thing, some of the problems that happen related to getting paid. Another problem right now, which has to do with getting paid here in Morocco. I mean, receiving that money right into your local bank accounts, right? Becomes right now here in Morocco, right? I have never encountered any problem at all, right? Because mostly the amount of money I receive, it doesn't exceed $500 a month. It doesn't exceed that much. But imagine that you receive it about $2,000 a month, right? In case your business has grown and so on, right? In case you receive such amount of money, right? Oh, this month $2,000, another month $2,000. You get them, right, in Moroccan dirhams here. Okay, so it's a suspicious activity, let's say, for the bank and for the central bank in Morocco, right? Alors إذا المكتب المصرف ولا البنك المركزي وكذا راه أي حاجة ديك transaction that you make, that transfer that you make from PayPal to your bank or whatever, everything is controlled. أي حاجة راه كونترولي والحمد لله مسجلة وكل شيء وكاين الوثائق ديالو, right? So if they notice that there is a suspicious activity, لا لاحظوا بأنه كاين شي نشاط مشبوه خصو يتحققوا يشوفوا شنو هذا الشيء, right? They may, right? Invite you, right, for a verification, right? Just to tell them you do the good things and you tell them the truth, right? Okay, that's all what you have to do, right? So make sure that your payments processors and so on, you invest them, your money, your service. Everything should be for something good, right? Something good, right? Don't use your PayPal, right? You have money there, right? You're excited, and then maybe you buy something wrong, right? Or maybe you are doing some wrong services or whatever. Make sure that everything that you do it, right? Should be good, right? If it's evil, if it's something bad, make sure that you will have trouble. You will go into troubles, all right? If we take an example of buying something from, I use my PayPal or my, right, to buy something. I want to buy something from China or from United States of America, right? There is something that regulates that, these things, which has to do with the المدونة ديال the customs اللي كتعلق بالمدونة ديال الجمارك, right? بالتالي ماشي أي حاجة بغيت عجبتني غادي نشريها, لا هادشي حاجة ممنوع عندنا في المغرب, right? بالتالي غتشريها غتلقى مشاكل, غيعيط عليك الانسبكتور ديال الجمارك, right? هادشي اش بغيتي, منين جا, كيفاش. It happened to me actually. I bought 2 smartwatches, right? I bought 2 smartwatches, which has got a camera, Wi-Fi, and so on, and all these things, and so on. All right, a camera, GPS, Bluetooth. What is he willing to do with this, right? Okay, so I received an invitation from the inspector, right, an inspector related to the customs. And then I told him, great, well, I'm a teacher of English, great, so I like this stuff, and they will try them and so on. They are for personal purposes, just at home, right? Not, for any criminal, So, okay, you're a teacher. Okay, well, once they know that I'm a teacher, educator, right? So they say it's okay. But if he was maybe great student or whatever, I don't think that the student will go into troubles, right? Because these things may be used for cheating or in a wrong period. So make sure that you do good things and that you, right? Okay, this is okay, or what you have to. It's no problem if you receive such, but they're just going to ask, is right, and know what you are doing. If it's good, right, it's okay. So for them to know that you're doing good, I recommend to have some sample videos, right, with permission of your clients. Okay, I have some students. It's okay. Where I take their permission. Is it okay, right, if I record, the lesson? All right, you have some records of your lesson. It's very important. Then if there is a problem with that client, you say, okay, I have approved, right? This is what I'm doing, right? I'm teaching, right, this man, right? I have the contact information of his parents, right? I have all the information, right? So then it's no problem at all, right? So don't worry about that, right? It is not a problem at all, right?
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdelouahed. Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome.
You've covered some very good points, and you answered the question indeed. Here, PayPal money. When you receive money from a client, specify to the client to mention the subject. Why are you receiving the money?
Great.
So the amount should not exceed $500, for example. I remember once I received $560, but it took time. I think it's 3 to 4 hours to go to my PayPal account. But once the client mentions the subject, the reason why sending the money, it's all good there. And when you transfer the money to your local bank account, do not transfer the sum, all of it. Try to transfer little by little, all right? So once in a while, having a large amount of money flow into your account each month is suspicious, and you are going to be questioned about that.
Yeah.
So since tutoring online is not that much of a kind of like, I don't know, you're not going to make thousands and thousands of dollars. Or just try to make it a kind of like a side hustle, as we say, where you get a few amounts here and there and make it clean and everything else. So thank you, Mr. Abdelouahed, for your answer.
Welcome. And, thank you so much too.
I'm going to kind of like
thank you.
Yeah, sure. I just give the last chance to Mr. Mohammed to speak, and then make it very brief, Mr. Mohammed, all right, so that we could other participants could, because I could notice that some of them have already logged out.
Definitely. I don't have much to say.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Mohammed.
Yeah, so all what I want to say is sincere expressions of gratitude to all the participants, and of course to
thank you so much.
This has been so useful for me. I have learned a lot from each one of you during your
we learned a lot from you too, right? Your discussions.
Exactly. And no matter how much I say, it will not suffice. So thank you very much indeed. And the last thing is, I used to receive the meeting links by email from an email called Sha'ir. So I want to listen to some poetry.
Sha'ir
Abdelouahed.
I sent you an email from my another account.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought it was my OULGOUT Gmail account, right? So it was another great for myself as a poet. We got different accounts, by the way, different channels, guys. This is the education and the ICT channel.
Is it English or Arabic poetry?
No, Arabic, bro. I'm not that good, right, in English.
So share with us some, if possible.
Let's ask the chairman, right, if he allows.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for your remarks. Indeed, Mr. Abdelouahed is a great poet, and very nice poetry coming from that man, I have to say. All right, so I'll give the chance now. The last closing remarks and speech will be given by Mr. Abdelouahed, and then we are going to call it a day, as they say, and then we are going to be talking and we stay in platform. So, Mr. Abdelouahed, you have the floor to speak and close this.
Thank you so much. Great. I think Mr. Muhammad was requesting, great, some verses and so on. Great. Would you allow or just skip it? I have the before I share.
Please. Yes, of course.
Okay,
yes,
great.
Of course.
Not that much, great.
To,
okay. Not that much. Great. I'm going
I have
to.
the same request.
All right, no worries. I have this is my great first poetry collection, great, Lawat Al-Hub, great. I have here some selection, great, in the back cover, great. Okay, so I'm gonna read them, great, yes. أشجو لعل طيور الفأل تسمعني. أشجو لعل طيور الفأل تسمعني أو تستدير إلى أشعاري الحكم. أشجو فهل يا ترى شعري يطاوعني. أشجو فهل يا ترى شعري يطاوعني هل يا تراه جراح الشعر تلتئم شعري سميري إذا ما الليل أرقني إن تهجروني فخير الصحبة القلم يا من إليه يبوح العبد لوعته يا من إليه يبوح العبد لوعته من للغريب إذا ضاقت بي إذا زلت بي القدم إني لا أعلم أن الذنب قد علقت أشواكه بيدي والنفس تحتدم لكن ظني بربي ليس يغلبه ريب وإن فترت في جعبتي همم. Thank you very much for giving me some time to promote myself. Thank you.
Wonderful poem. Wonderful poem.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdelouahed.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Fine lines indeed. Fine.
All right. Okay, and maybe let's go ahead, great, inshallah, and share your suggestions that you have submitted and so on, your results.
Yes.
It's me a result of this kind of yeah, right. Let me share, inshallah.
I'll give you the floor, Mr. Abdelouahed, because I personally will leave in a few. But we're going to listen to Mr. Abdelouahed for his final and closing speech, where he's going to share your suggestions for ongoing support of this training. Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you so much. No, it's not a speech actually. It's just gonna show you the results of what you have submitted concerning the event evaluation form. And the last thing I would say is thank you. Great. Yeah. Okay. So confirm, guys, if you can see the screen.
Yes.
All right, this is event feedback form. So these are the results, guys. So we got about 8 participants actually responded to submitted the form. So let me make it a little bit great. Okay, so as you can see here, for the first statement in the questionnaire or in the form, overall, how beneficial was the event? يعني عامة كيف إلى أي حد هو مفيد, right? So we got the best response. يعني أحسن إجابة هنا أعطت 10 ديال great 10 ديال نجمات. Thank you very much for the 10 and the 88%, right? This is the percentage of participants who has responded with 10 stars, right? And there were of course 8 responses. Okay, so for the next statement here, after the event, how inspired did you feel, right? So again, so 63 responded with 10, right? Okay, so 10 participants. 5 participants, right, responded with 10 stars. They were, highly, inspired, and 2 grades were, responded with 8 stars, and 1 responded with 9 stars, right? Okay, so this generally 63%. Are inspired, let's say, by this event. Okay, guys, here for the statement, do you feel the event schedule and timing are suitable? Concerning the schedule, about 38%, right, responded with the 10 stars, which means it's not that much actually, right? It means that we have problem with the schedule, and actually I did feel so, and some participants did not attend because of the schedule maybe doesn't fit, let's say, into their plan. Okay, so we need, inshallah, right, to work on the schedule of the, schedule. Maybe we should negotiate about the schedule of the planning later on in the future. For the statement, what was the single best session of the event in your opinion? All right, this is a very tough, great question. So 2 says, profile description, right? Writing profile description. 2 said this is their best section. Some said 2 said online tutoring software and platforms. 1 said the tutoring requirement, 1 said the teaching language skills and so on, 1 said demo lessons. It means that maybe the overall component of the let's say of the training were parts, let's say, of the preferable sections in the, let's say, in this training. As for the question, would you recommend this event to a similar or to a friend? Okay, 100%. Everyone would recommend, great, would like to recommend this event. Inshallah, great, we'll contact you, inshallah, for the next future events. Not necessarily for you to take the, another training in another great issue, great, or theme. But if there is someone that you would like to recommend, inshallah, great, other clients they would like to refer to us. For the presentations, so we got let's say here we have 75%, right? 75% were differently inspired. Say that the presentations were definitely inspiring, right, and beneficial. And right, about 2% say they were mostly, right, inspiring. About 63% say that the presentations were definitely, let's say, relevant, in terms of content and so on. And about 3%, 38% say that they were most. So generally speaking, the presentations were definitely and mostly, right, inspiring and relevant, right? And for the next, right, about 100% guys, right, they say that they were definitely interesting and entertaining. I think that we had some fun together, right? And that's very nice. I'm very happy with these results and remarks. As for the interviews and discussions, guys, for the interviews and discussions, we have about 63% say that they were definitely inspiring. 38% say they were mostly inspiring, so it's positively and highly, great, satisfying. 75% say that they were definitely, great, they were definitely, let's say, relevant, and about 25% were mostly, let's say, relevant. Right. About, again, 88% say that let's say the interviews and so on, right, were definitely, let's say, interesting and entertaining, and about 13% they were mostly great. So generally, again, you can see here green and great orange. So they are the interviews too and discussions were definitely and mostly entertaining and relevant. Great. Okay, so for the workshops, great, so 86%, sorry, great, were definitely inspiring, and about 14% were mostly, let's say, inspiring. 57% again was definitely relevant, and about 43% were, mostly relevant, right? And again, 38% say that they were definitely, let's say, interesting and entertaining, but the majority say that they are mostly, about 63%, they are mostly, again, as you can see here, again, green and orange, it means it's okay, it's fine, right? It's not somewhat or not really or not at all, right? So generally speaking, right, it's they were interesting. Okay, for the demo lessons, 86%, they say, of the participants say that they were definitely inspiring, and about 14% mostly inspiring. 86% definitely relevant, let's say, to the participants, and about 88% were say that the demo lessons were interesting and entertaining. Right, that's very nice. Okay, so I think that you had some fun, right? Although you were a little bit nervous and so on, it was, the result was generally positive. Now, for this, were you satisfied with the venue, right? And we're able to see and hear the presentations clearly, right? Yeah, the venue here, I have specified Zoom, right? I have mentioned that, right? We're satisfied with using Zoom and with the presentation clarity and so on. Okay, so 100% say yes, right? Okay, so for the suggestions, I think, what problems did you encounter? These are some of the problems, guys, that participants encountered. Two participants didn't have any problem at all, right? One of them said that some technical problems related to the first encounter with the program, right? Okay, so I think it's not a problem. It's some of the problems with the participants. So we need, again, even though it's not our problem, we need to help, let's say, maybe to have some kind of piloting stage or testing the software and so on together with the participant to make sure that everything, their materials work fine, right? Okay, so, and again, some of the problems or challenges is that because of my work, I cannot participate well, all right? Okay, this is again my advice to you, right? Maybe Afaf and Kama. So, I should devote time for training. Training ماشي شي حاجة زايدة, right? راه بحال عندنا في الكلاس. واش انا نكون في الكلاس ديالك وانا كندير شي حاجه اخي اسد مرحبا هي اسد وفي نفس الوقت نو خصني ندير الوقت ما عنديش الوقت نخليه حتى يكون الوقت رايت ولا الا كاين ملتمس نقعد الهيئه المنظمه وكذا لتعديل البرنامج او شيء من هذا القبيل رايت. The voice of some participants right was a bit low. Yes, there are some technical problems regarding the voice. I think the chairman also has some problems regarding the voice. I say I can't hear you very well. Great, we hear you. It's audible, but we need higher quality, inshallah. Right, and it's the same problem with some participants. From Mu'ad, I think also the bass right is a little bit high, so we can't. Or maybe you get you move right your microphone closer to your mouth or something like that, or maybe because your voice, mashallah, right, is too loud, right? So inshallah we shall right address this problem too, right, in next future trainings. The only one, right, the only problem here was about how to pay and how to choose a relevant platform. This is a problem related to some of the challenges related to the content. All right, but it was later clarified. Okay, now it was solved good, right, with the instructor in one of the discussions. No problem, just today, I mean the last day in the morning, I could not attend, no problem, because I have already something scheduled. That it's all right. Okay, so I missed the most important parts. I had a micro problem, right? Okay, so I can guess who is that this participant. Okay, inshallah, these are some of the technical problems that you had. And schedule, you have to, again, right, there should be some negotiation regarding the schedule, so as to choose the best schedule that fits your plan and so on. Okay, for the statement, how was the quality of feedback, tips, and recommendations? Okay, about 75% responded with 10 stars. That's something really inspiring. And 2 responded with 8 stars, right? So generally it was highly great, satisfying, right? Okay, guys, so for suggestions right now, okay, this is the last maybe stage. Suggestions, right, for some said it would be great if we include another chapter on material development. Oh, it's going to be another great training, guy, right? I would like to, I was about to inform you about the next training, inshallah, concerning materials development. Inshallah, training, right? It's going to be for free, by the way, right? It's going to be for free. ولكن it's, inshallah, right? I intend to organize a training about very short training, a one-day training, right? Like 4 hours or 2 hours, I think, right, it's going to be enough, right? It depends on the learning pace, let's say, of the participants, about developing interactive quizzes, right? Okay, maybe we need, right, if we'd like to have another training, a larger training or an extended training to learn about how to develop learning materials in general, be it a video tutorial or an interactive quiz or assessment or whatever, inshallah, we shall discuss that. But for me, I have an intention to organize a training, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours training, short training about short-term training, a short training about the developing interactive quizzes, right? Because, and this, training is going to be free. Actually, it's me who is going to pay the participants who are going to work with me, right? Who, you know, who can manage the staff and so on, right? I can, we can negotiate the payments for one quiz, right? I will provide them with the training, and next they are going to work, right, you know, to help me, right, and work and prepare, right, let's say prepare some develop interactive quizzes, right? I want to, you know, tens of interactive quizzes for my platform, so I can provide the training for free, and then I will pay for per each interactive quiz that you make. Okay, so again, how can we how can we deal in a good way with any kind of student during the learning process, right? Any kind of student during the learning process. This, inshallah, we are going to answer this question in another training, which I have in my schedule. I have a, you know, a plan, right? The idea in mind to organize a TEFL certificate. That's why I asked you in the form, in the registration form, for those, you know, whether you have a certificate, a TEFL certificate or not. For those who don't have, let's say, the TEFL certificate, they will attend, inshallah, right, if they are interested. It's going to be paid, right, training for, of course, because it's going to be a little bit long. And inshallah, like, you know, right, like 2 or 3 weeks, right, training. You know, each weekend, right, we can have like 4 hours or something like that, or maybe we can keep it 1 week during the holiday like this and so on, right? And at the end, right, they will get, let's say, their TEFL certificate, for an accredited TEFL certificate, right? It's here where we are. It's in this TEFL certificate where we are going to answer questions regarding methodology of teaching language skills, and also how to deal with classroom management and any kind of students that you may encounter. Give feedback to teachers right after the demo lessons, right? Right after the demo lessons. It's a question of time constraints, actually. We hope that if we could, we wish really we could, right, make it, right? I had this idea in mind, but all right, we want to give much opportunities for teachers to participate, right, and teach. So we can't, right? So we can't, you know, give more opportunities for, you know, engage everyone, and at the same time discuss right after the lesson. That's why we devoted, right, one whole session, right, or part or half of the whole session, or the afternoon session, for discussion of the observations. Okay, so maybe talking about some cultures, characteristics to consider later while searching, right, for teaching kids and so on. Yeah, these are things that we should learn from TEFL, right, regarding you know, the target language culture, or even the culture, right, related to the you know, target students. I think that you are going to learn a lot, right, from students. I started speaking Saudi, right, dialect after a long-term you know, work with those students. I recommend a training which concerns creating a profile which is outstanding, right, online, right. I mean, while the 2022, right, English teacher, right, should have in terms of knowledge, characters, and competencies, right. I recommend a training which concerns creating a profile. All right, so this is something that we discussed. And inshallah, right, if you are willing to, you know, go further, right, and develop and deeper, right, regarding this point, inshallah, it's we can devote it, right, a training session. Why not, right? I hope there will be more trainings and workshops, right, like this. Inshallah, there will be more, right? Inshallah, right, everything is going to be interesting. If you were running the event, what would you have done differently? It's great already. Thank you. Right. It was right, good and funny. I don't know what. I don't know what. It was great, good and funny. Right. All right. Not sure. All right. Yeah. You're talking about the organization and the administration of the. Okay, running of the event. If I were running the event, I would set some rules to force all the participants participate, all right? Because we are here to learn, share, and get inspired from each other, not hide behind cameras, right? Okay, we wish that everyone, I think my suggestion, right, is more reasonable. I advise you, I recommend you, when you want to take part in a training, all right, so devote your time for the training. بغيت نتعلم شي حاجه، بغيت التنميه المهنيه ديالي ولا professional development، اذا صافي خصني نخص لها الوقت. فوالا great ونتفرغ ليها great ماشي ندير هنايا وكذا وجوج فوالا it's not gonna be great you know ما غتستافدش بزاف this is the problem great اما اللي على المنظم والترينر راه كيدير خدمته اللي حاضر راه حاضر اللي ما حاضرش لا ولا اللي عنده كذا وهذا it depends great. Okay, so these are, you know, some of the most suggestions that you have, right? Okay, so for the home, I have requested the home addresses. You have supplied, you have submitted your home addresses. The purpose, so as not to forget, inshallah, is that, inshallah, soon you will get your own certificate addressed or mailed to the addresses that the home addresses that you have provided. Inshallah, I need time to work great to design good, great and good looking great certificates. And they need to have some partnership with the, you know, legal authorized center, great, for languages or training so that you can, great, you know, it can be a plus for your resume, great, or CV curriculum vitae. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for taking you for so long.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdelouahed. I'm not surprised, Mr. Abdelouahed. You know why?
I'm so happy, by the way. Thank you very much. Right, the training is so successful, right? كل شيء ما كان غير 70 80%
by
فوق
the
الرئيس.
participants' responses because I could feel that the training has been done and supervised and
thank you so much for your trust.
In a very professional and good way. So I think we are about to finish this training.
Yeah.
My last words would be thank you very much for your engagement and serious participation. Most of you have shown, or all of you actually have shown serious participation and you know, engagement and interaction with each part of this training. And myself, I have learned a lot from you. I have actually got to know many new people, new educators that are interested in improving and developing themselves. Because as educators, as teachers, we're looking for connections. We're looking for people who share the same objectives, the same goals as us, so that we could improve in the future, inshallah. And Mr. Abdelouahed, sorry about the microphone. I know.
I know your situation too. By the way, سي توفيق جزاه الله خيرا راه حتى لاخر لحظه right انا كنت كنطبخ معاه بوحدي ترينين باغي نديرو كنت باغي ناوي نديرو بوحدي هذا كانت نيه قريت وحتى وجدت المسائل كاملين وتماره وكذا كنشوف بزاف قريت هاد السيكشن هاد البريزنتيشن هاد الوركشوب كلشي عبد واحد قلت له ما جاياش هادشي الو حتى لاخر لحظه قلت له سي توفيق تنقص عليا شي شويه غدير شيت شيرين مستر امي يقول لي عافاك غتجي واخا راه هضرت على ال سيرتيفيكيت غتجي غتهضر كذا وانت ديجا كدير سيرتا كورسز فوالا والحمد لله جزاهم الله خير يعني هزوا عليا شي شويه ديال التقوى الا راه والله شي شويه الحاله الصحيه لا تساعد واخا الحمد لله راه ساعدتونا كاملين وخديتوا الهضره وهضرتوا بزاف وبغيتوا تهضروا thank you very much right I saved some energy a lot of energy actually
this is actually one of the traits of a teacher, commitment, all right, and eagerness to learn. So congratulations all of you. Thank you very much. You could go ahead with your day. You have a great rest of the day and evening with your family and friends, wherever you are. Last question by Miss Afa. Is this all like TEFL? She wants to say probably. Is this all like TEFL? Right? That's the question.
I think, yeah. Is that the right question? Let me check.
I'm not sure. Because
let me check.
Different and there might be. So we could address all the questions through
مرحبا, yeah, sure.
We are going to stay,
is this all like TEFL? TEFL, not TEFL, right? I have never heard the TEFL, right?
So we are going to further discuss this
inshallah,
group.
great, yeah.
Any questions you have, you can send them there. Mr. Abdelouahed and I are available, and all other participants are available. We are going to share our experiences and answer questions regarding anything that is related to online teaching or teaching in general. So I would like to thank you very much for your participation, and thank you very much, Mr. Abdelouahed, for
thank you so much. Thank you so much to
initiative.
Mrs. Taoufik for sharing. Thank you, Si Saeed, Afaf, great, Mrs. Rashida, and Zal Kama, great, Si Aziz.
Thank you all.
معاد great, واللي ربما ما تحت لهمش فرصة يحضروا. Thank you so much, yeah. أي واحد great, we have created the WhatsApp group for further support, as Mr. Taoufik said. So don't hesitate to ask any question, great, or I'm not that disturbed at all, great. So just post your question in the group, great. Or privately if you like, great, inshallah, and they will be more than happy to help, right? Don't worry, right? Thank you so much.
Everybody take care.
All the best, everyone, right? The video is getting larger and larger, guys. Stop it.
Everyone. Bye.
All right, thank you so much.
See you and talk to you soon in another another professional development training, inshallah, and have a great day or night and evening.
Don't forget, guys, great, remember that inshallah I'm you know, there will be a package, inshallah, I will be sending to you, a package which includes those books, great, to read about English language teaching, and books, again, a package of books, great, which has, you know, many great textbooks, workbooks, and so on, with audios at different levels. Okay, so that you can use, great, in teaching, great, and so on. Another document related to different lists of websites and resources, including the ones that Mr. Taoufik and me, great, have mentioned before. So there is a package of documents which has to do with the online training days package. I will send you the link, inshallah, to download it. As I said before, it is a large package. So if you want to download that large, you may need the storage, right? And you may need, inshallah, great, also a fast internet connection. So check for someone who has a fiber optic, inshallah, to download the materials easily. That's it, great, and thank you very much for being here.
Sure, we are going to share all the materials and everything that we think is necessary to help you guys and support you with your journey.
In addition to the videos, of course, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So you take care, you have a great rest of the day, and have a great time with your family and friends. Take care, Mr. Abdelouahed.
Okay, goodbye, guys. All the best. Thank you so much, guys. Goodbye. Goodbye. Great. Goodbye. Thank you so much. Alhamdulillah.